much for joining me today. If you are new here, my name is Sarah Sperber and I am a Reno real estate agent. Before we dive into today's video, go ahead and hit that like and that subscribe button to make sure that you don't miss any of my upcoming content. On today's video, I'm going to be talking all about the recent market shift. And while a lot of people are complaining and panicking about it, I'm going to tell you all of the reasons why it's actually a very good thing. So let's dive in. To give you a bit of background about the recent market shift, for the past 2+ years, we have been in an extremely hot seller's market, which means that properties were sitting on the market for a few hours up to maybe a few days in certain cases. Almost every property was getting multiple offers and they were just flying off the market faster than anyone could really keep up with. And even though interest rates were historically low as a result of many things, mainly the COVID pandemic, buyers were kind of at a loss because they had to compete with probably at least 20 other buyers on each home that they were interested in buying. And buyers who were using a loan to purchase their property really had no ground to stand on against all cash buyers who were coming in sight unseen and just swooping every property the moment it hit the market. So that is where we have been. Now I'm going to tell you a little bit about where we are at and possibly where we will be going. So the Fed hiked up the interest rates for mortgages, and they went from in like the 2% range all the way up to about the 6% range. And now they're going down. They've gone down for the past 2 weeks in a row. Today is the 10th of July. So if you're watching this, that's just to give you a little bit of context. So anyway, what that did was it decreased buying power for buyers, for many buyers who were not all cash buyers and who were using a loan to purchase property, which temporarily made it almost impossible for a lot of people. It priced a lot of people out, and it was kind of a tight squeeze for some buyers. But overall, it's a good thing because when you have less buyers competing for the same home, it's going to force the hand of the seller to lower prices. So the first positive that I would say is that there's less competition, right? So we have no more 20 offers on the same property. It's more like a small handful, which is a little bit more typical, more like normal in a balanced market. I'm sure most of you understand with basic economics of supply and demand, when you have less demand for a product, in our case, there's less buyers competing for the same homes, then the seller is going to have to offer some more concessions, right? So, when you have less people competing, the price tag, they may have more flexibility on price because people who are desperate to sell are in a position in their lives where they have to sell because maybe they're moving or whatever their circumstance may be. They have to get rid of the property. If they only have 3 offers and they're all below list price, then they're going to have to probably take one. Whereas a month ago, when you had 20 to 50 people and you had cash buyers going well over the list price, the sellers didn't have to come down in price. So now we are seeing that. We are also seeing more seller concessions throughout the contract period. So sellers are a lot more inclined to make more repairs or give closing credits for findings on the home inspection reports. We are seeing, and I actually saw this week with one of my buyer clients, sellers are a lot more inclined to lower the purchase price to the appraised value, or at least entertain meeting in the middle somewhere. Whereas before, if the appraisal came back lower than the purchase price, the buyers were either going to have to come up with the gap from their own money or friends or family or whatever they could do to bridge the gap, or they would just be replaced almost instantly by an all cash buyer who could waive the appraisal, who didn't care about the appraised value. They just wanted the home. Some of them were even buying sight unseen. It was crazy. And so we're just seeing a lot more concessions. We're seeing sellers being more flexible with their timeline. If they have a buyer who wants the home but needs extra time or needs to close quickly, we're seeing sellers kind of give into those things. So overall, it's creating a much more balanced environment for buyers, whereas before the sellers outright had the upper hand. Now, also because of supply and demand, because there are far less buyers who are competing for offers, we are seeing a longer timeline. We're seeing the pace has slowed down. So properties that were getting snatched in a few hours to a few days are now sitting on the market for much longer. I believe the median days on market at the end of June was 15 or 16 days. I did make a market report. You can check my Instagram for that. Um, but it was, going in within hours, maybe like 6 months ago. So that's a good thing too. That's allowing buyers to take time in making such an important decision, maybe looking at multiple homes and really considering which is the best to fit their needs, and not just feeling like they have to jump on anything that they even sort of like. Also, with the slowed pace of the market, we are also seeing a lot more options online for buyers. I mean, a year ago, last summer, when I was, working with buyer clients, they would tell me what they wanted, how many bedrooms, price range, area, etc. I would send them a list of maybe 3 to 5 listings because that would be all that was online at that time. Now I'm sending out lists of 40 or 50 or more properties that meet criteria for buyers. So we're kind of back to the romantic, I like to call it, idea of house shopping, because you actually are shopping. You're actually looking at a whole bunch of options and making considerations for what best meets your needs versus just having to grab whatever it is that might work just to get in the game. So, overall, that is a huge positive for buyers. All right, let's talk for a moment about the perceived, I say perceived in quotation marks, perceived negative of the interest rates having gone up, because I realize that for many buyers who were just barely able to get their hands on a property because the price tag has gone so high, with the shift in interest rates rising, now a lot of people are getting priced out. And I totally understand that. And for those buyers who just can't make it happen in this climate, I feel for you. I'm not trying to be insensitive in saying this. However, overall, it's a good thing. It's going to ultimately drive prices down. The market certainly isn't going to crash. There's just no evidence that backs that up. People who own homes now, unlike the last time the market crashed, have a ton of equity. They were given loans based on a lot more stringent requirements than they were back in 07, 08 when the crash happened last time. So that's really not a concern, but it is just kind of preventing price tags from going much higher at the crazy rate that they were before. So that's a good thing. The other thing to keep in mind is that, we've seen the last 2 weeks, the interest rates have come down. I don't really know if that's a trend or if that was just kind of, a hiccup on an upward trend. I don't know. I'm certainly not a financial analyst. That is not my wheelhouse. But I can tell you that your interest rate is not forever. If you find a home that you are in love with and you want it for the long term or even for like 5 years, you will most likely have an opportunity to refinance at a lower rate at some point in the future. So, my best advice to you is to fall in love with the home, don't fall in love with the interest rate, and capitalize on all of these positives and seller concessions that are coming your way now that the market has shifted. What do you guys think? I want to hear from you in the comments. Are you feeling like this shift is overall positive now that I put some things into perspective for you? Are you feeling really bummed out because now you're priced out? I want to know. Leave me a comment below. I respond to every single comment. And hey, if you are thinking about making a move in real estate in the next year or so, I would love to be a resource for you. I will hop on a call with you for 30 minutes at your convenience. The link to book a call with me is in the description box below. It's totally free, no obligation. I'm not going to harass you every day thereafter. I just want to be a resource for you and answer your questions. So let's hop on a call. And if you haven't already, make sure you hit that like and that subscribe button down below. I put out new videos every week. I like to be a resource. I like answering questions you may have about the home buying and home selling process, and of course, about the Reno lifestyle and all of the benefits of living in this city that I love. So that is it for now, and I will see you guys next week. Thank you.